Intelligent transportation system. That's a phrase we use a lot. But have you ever stopped to think what makes an ITS system intelligent? Well, that's a simple question, but like many simple questions, the answer sometimes isn't quite as apparent. In this case, could it be the decisions made by the operators back at the traffic management center? After all, they're tasked with responding to changing roadway conditions and alerting motorists to potential problems. So, does the operator at the TMC make an ITS system intelligent? Or could it be the motoring public? Every morning, millions of people wake up and plan their route to work based on information that they receive from the DOT and other sources regarding current traffic conditions. So, is it the decisions that those drivers make that make an ITS system intelligent? Or could it be the technology that's deployed in these systems? The roadway sensors, or the overhead message signs, or the video images provided by the cameras, or the data that's provided to the driver inside the vehicle. Does this technology make an ITS system intelligent? Well, to further answer or investigate this question, it would be wise to understand what the goal of an ITS system is. And namely, that goal should be to empower the DOT and the motoring public to make those informed decisions that result in reduced roadway congestion, improved travel times, lower fuel costs, increased safety, or reduced pollution. So, what is needed then to make these informed decisions possible? Well, quite simply, you need information or data from the roadway. So where does this data come from? Well, it comes from a number of sources. It can come from the public through calls to emergency services, for example, alerting the authorities to a potential accident on the roadway. Or it could come from the TMC operators themselves. After all, they're normally scanning a row of video monitors looking for problems on the roadway. But on most ITS systems, the majority of information is derived from the sensors that are deployed on the side of the road, these automatic vehicle detection devices. They perform a variety of actions, not least of which are looking for potential congestion problems and alerting operators to that, or looking for incidents on the roadway. This data can also be used to perform automatic trip time calculations that can then be posted on the overhead message signs, alerting motorists to how long it's going to take to get from their location to their ultimate destination. But the data can be used for a number of other purposes as well. It can be used to feed web maps or provide that data that drivers can now get in their vehicles through HAR systems or as part of their in-car navigation systems. But the important thing to remember that receiving this consistent, accurate data is critical in the decision-making process. Because, after all, that data empowers the operators of the system and the motorists to make those informed decisions and act upon that data, which hopefully will result in the goal of the ITS system to begin with. So the answer to the question, what makes an ITS system intelligent, is the decisions made by the operators and the motorists in response to the information that they're receiving. So if that's the case, and if it's true that most of that data comes from the roadway sensor itself, it's safe to say that the vehicle sensor or the sensors calculating that information on the side of the road serve as the foundation for your ITS system. Just like a home foundation design, when building a new house, care is taken in the design of that foundation. Corners are not cut and costs are not spared in the design and construction of the foundation, because after all, if it is, the entire structure of the house is at risk. So cost becomes a secondary factor when designing a home in terms of the foundation. Now, just like a house, ITS projects can be quite costly. After all, you have the cost of the field equipment, the cameras, the poles, the cabinets, the trenching, the communications gear, all of the field electronics and installation of those devices, maintenance of traffic, all of those costs add up very quickly. Not only that, you have the cost of the traffic management center itself and the recurring cost of the operators and the maintenance personnel that are required in order to keep the typical ITS system functioning smoothly and properly. Now, these overall costs can greatly exceed the cost of the sensor that's selected itself. So why is it then, if the ITS sensor can be considered to be the foundation of an ITS design, many ITS designers decide to sacrifice sensor performance for marginal cost savings by selecting a sensor that may not be up to snuff in terms of capability? After all, what can the result of such a choice be? Well, here's an illustration of a garbage can with data in the middle. The old adage, garbage in, garbage out, applies especially well to ITS. Because after all, faulty data can lead to faulty decision making. And when that happens, bad things can result. And here's an example of one. This is a location on the interstate, and as you can see, there's a lot of traffic congestion there. And the motorists are being told that there's congestion ahead at the next exit. Well, the next exit happens to be 10 miles down the road. So imagine, if you will, you're one of the drivers at this location, and this message is informing you that there's congestion well in advance of where you are. Well, guess what? You already know there's congestion because you're in the middle of it. So this data is either delayed or faulty, but the end result is it does you no good whatsoever. And if that happens over a period of time, the natural result is going to be the driver is going to start dismissing what he's being told because he suspects the information that he's receiving. And if that happens, the end result is you're defeating the purpose of the entire system to begin with, because they can't make those informed decisions that they need to make. So in this case, saving a little bit on your sensor selection could result in costing your agency quite a lot. So, just as the foundation of a house makes up a small portion of the overall cost of the structure, if the foundation is improper, that could be the result. The same is true for an ITS project. If the sensor choice is incapable of providing you with the data that you need and the motoring public needs to make those informed decisions possible, the entire purpose of the system is then called into question. So please, let's make sure and keep the intelligent transportation systems by selecting a sensor that's capable enough and reliable enough, and yes, smart enough to make those informed, critical decisions possible. Thank you for your time.